This rice, you want to try it. It's really delicious. After pilau, it's probably one of my favorites, if not on the same level. So when I tell you to try this out, believe me, and I'm making it very simple and Kenyanizing it, as it were, with ingredients that are most likely available right where you are. Please join me as we work on this recipe of jollof rice. Welcome to Recipes and Hospitality with Clara. This is a channel where we share recipes that are simple, easy to do at home with ingredients toned down to enhance your hospitality for the glory of God. And if you're new here and this is the kind of content you like, kindly consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload new content. I upload this kind of content that is very simple to make, and like I said, the ingredients are most likely available where you are. This is a recipe you're going to enjoy a great deal when you try it out. I don't know why I never tried a recipe of jollof rice, but I'm grateful that I have done it this time. But thankfully I'm doing it when I have worked on this particular recipe, because I saw there are various versions of jollof rice, and that's why I got courage to be able to work on my own recipe that I'm trusting you will enjoy, together with some of the explanation to have it delightful, even with toned down ingredients, as you will see. So as is always our custom on this channel, we will pray and trust the Lord to grant us a fruitful time together as we work on this recipe. Indeed, Father, I pray that you be with me and my viewer, and grant that you will be glorified as we work on this recipe and every other thing we do in the kitchen. Please be with us, because we would desire that our hospitality will serve you in Jesus' name. Amen. Let's begin by roasting our bell peppers, our tomatoes, and 7 of the garlic cloves, because this process is going to take us about 40 minutes to an hour. I have simply put salad oil, about 3 tablespoons of salad oil, on my pan and arranged those pieces. I've cut up the bell peppers, but I haven't cut up the tomatoes. You can cut them up, but I didn't want them to take up a lot of space on the pan, so I put them in whole, as much as I know they are going to produce a lot of juices, and I'm going to have to ensure to have my fire on full flame so that I can get rid of the juices, so that all these can eventually roast. You can see they are roasting, so every 15 minutes I'm going in, turning them, and then covering again until about 40 minutes to an hour, so that they can all roast and get rid at least of most of the juices. So you can use any part of your chicken, but I am using these drumsticks personally. So I will mix in the spices, the garlic, 3 cloves of garlic, plus an equivalent amount of fresh ginger, the onions. I'm using a lot of onion, as you can see, 1 large onion, and then I am pouring in water. I'm using 2 tumblers of water. My 2 tumblers might be equivalent to about 3 to 4 cups of water, and then I will cover, bring to a boil. Once I've brought to a boil, I will time for about 15 minutes, because this is broiler chicken, and broiler chicken will tend to cook very fast. So if you're using free range, please let it cook until the chicken is cooked and just soft enough, and then we will continue. So you can see how my red peppers turned out. I kept turning them every 15 minutes on that medium heat to high heat until they were ready. This is 15 minutes later with our chicken, so it's ready. So I'm going to separate the chicken and put it aside, so that we can later use our chicken broth. So next, the red peppers, the tomatoes, together with garlic is ready to be transferred to my blender. My blender will normally not blend without some liquid, so I've added in a little of the chicken broth so that it could blend those ingredients that we roasted on the pan earlier. So blend until smooth, and then we will continue with the process. Now, in a suitable pan where you're going to fry your rice, begin by frying one large onion that is cut up. That's the other onion. I am using about 15 tablespoons of salad oil. I know the usual jollof you will use a lot of salad oil, but as you can see, I am toning down my ingredients as I often do on this channel. So we are using about 15 tablespoons. So I will fry my onion until tender, or when you just begin to see it starting to turn a light golden color, add in your tomato paste. In goes our 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. We will stir them in until evenly stirred. So once you've evenly stirred them, cover, slightly lower the heat, and allow this mixture to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. So this is about 3 or so minutes later. Now you can stir in the mixture that you blended. So evenly stir the mixture and then bring it to a boil. Once you've brought it to a boil, as you can see, I will cover this mixture and lower the heat and allow it to cook for about 10 minutes. This is 10 minutes later. So we will stir the mixture again. You can see it's beginning to stick on the pan a little. That's why you needed to lower the heat. Yeah, so stir it, give it another stir, and we will add in salt. Remember, we added salt to the broth, and then I'm just adding in curry powder and then a teaspoon of garlic powder. So give this a stir again, and then we will stir in the rice once we have stirred it for about a minute, just to allow the spices to mix in and to cook. So evenly stir in your rice. I already washed my rice, drained the water out, so ensure that you have washed your rice unless it's the kind that doesn't need washing. I'm using pishori rice because I find this will turn out better than other kinds, but of course if you have rice that is basmati, I'm supposing it would work. I am also adding in my tablespoon of margarine. If you have butter, the better, but I know most of us can get access to margarine because, as you know, we keep toning down our ingredients and working with ingredients that are most likely available where you are and affordable. So I'm stirring in the margarine until it's fully melted into the rice. Once this has happened, I will now pour in the broth that was left out of the chicken. So I can see that my broth is not really enough. So at this point you could add in some water, but ensure not to add in a lot of water. I had some bone soup. If you have broth somewhere that you have kept, the better. Those are just particles that collect as once you have stored your bone soup. I keep some bone soup in my fridge and my freezer, so that's what I added in just to get it over the rice, not too much. You just need it to be, the water to be about a centimeter above the rice. That's what I'm looking for. So I will keep stirring frequently until I get this mixture to a boil. I'm doing that because the paste was quite heavy, so it keeps sticking at the bottom of the pan. That's why you will keep stirring, and we are not putting in a lot of oil, so we will just work with this stirring until we get it to a boil. So once it has boiled, cover it. Ensure it boils because that's the heat that will keep your rice cooking, and then lower the heat significantly. As you can see, actually the one that you turn it around, like you're switching off your cooker, and get it to the lowest because we don't want our rice to burn before it's ready. In a separate pan, I am frying 1 clove of garlic and a similar amount of ginger and half a teaspoon of salt in 2 to 3 tablespoons of salad oil, really, because I don't want to deep fry my chicken, as is characteristic of jollof rice recipes. So I just fried it a little for about a minute or two for it to just mix into the oil really well, and then I'm arranging my pieces of chicken on the pan. I will lower the heat and then cover it and give it about 15 minutes to brown on that side. Meanwhile, we've done 15 minutes with our rice, so I will go in with my fork. A fork is really good to work with because you don't want to crush the rice before it's ready. I will stir the rice as I'm doing until I have stirred most of it. The paste and the liquid is still in the rice. So just stir it until you have it well stirred. And then we are going to trap the heat in because that's what we need to get our rice to cook from now on. So we will trap it in with some foil paper and then cover it with our lid and give it 15 minutes again on that low heat. I had already turned my pieces, so this is actually the third time I'm turning them. I kept turning them on that low heat, giving them an interval of 15 minutes until all of the meat was browned, like you can see. So that means I did a total of 45 minutes because I turned the pieces 3 times. So this is what we will do with the jollof rice from now on. Because of the thick paste, the rice will take longer, and because we don't want to use a lot of heat, it will also take longer to cook. So you will keep giving it an interval of 15 to 20 minutes, turning it and doing the same until it is ready. So that means if you don't want to use a lot of salad oil, you may have to do this process at least 3 to 4 times, meaning your rice may take a total of 45 minutes to an hour to get ready. You saw me turn the chicken pieces again so that they could cook evenly and get that nice brown color on that low heat. So I kept turning it, as you can see, and just tasting to ensure that it is cooked. If not, I cover again with my foil paper and allow it to cook for 15 minutes. So I did this until the rice was ready. Actually, I need to confess that at some point, because the heat was so low, this process was made slightly longer with my rice this time because my fire went off at some point and I wasn't aware, so I put on the fire again on that low heat and just allowed it to cook. And I can tell you, when you do this, you won't have to use a lot of salad oil, but you will find that your rice will eventually cook, even though it may take longer. And also because you're using that low heat, because you don't want it to burn until it's ready. So our rice is basically ready at this point. As you can see, looking very delightful, and all of it is cooked. So I will just arrange on my chicken pieces. And as always, because I love my dania on my rice as a garnish, I am going to sprinkle on some dania or cilantro And then we will be ready to enjoy our rice. We actually enjoyed it with some vegetable stew because, as you know, in Kenya we rarely eat our rice dry. We will have it with some form of stew. So that's the vegetable stew we served it with, and we really enjoyed our rice. So try this jollof rice recipe, Kenyanized style as I'm calling it, and I'm hopeful you will enjoy this rice. We really enjoyed it. I trust you too will enjoy. This is a recipe we had on someone's birthday in this household, and they enjoyed it. We enjoyed it a great deal, and as I told you, you will not be disappointed. This is one that you want to try and have as one of your recipes in your portfolio, or probably on your menu. You could check out this playlist right here of other recipes, rice recipes that we have done on this channel that you're going to enjoy a lot when you try them as well. And thank you so much for joining me. Look out for our next recipe, again a very delightful one that I'm certain you will enjoy also. And until then, bye.